Peer assessment. It is a good practice to make the students assess their own friends in the classroom. They like to listen to what the other person is saying, especially if they are coming from the same background and they are in the same class and the same age. They focus more on the words being used, such as adjectives, verbs, and nouns by their own friends. And then they register those words in order to reproduce. So there is a chain building activity that is taking place when the teacher makes the students peer assess their friends. Peer assessment, as it is very clear from the words, is assessing your fellow students, students who are in the same class and at the same age as yourself. They love to do that because they gain confidence that they can assess their friends or their partners. So in order to have peer assessment, the teacher first needs to explain it to the students what practice she is going to use in order to assess their speaking skills. She has to give an introduction that peer assessment means that you are going to be very independent and honest to assess the capability of your friends' speaking skills. The teacher also needs to explain them that it is an exercise in order to develop a sense of understanding that which words carry weightage whenever an assessment is done. They should also understand how an assessment is done. And likewise, they would understand it is a very difficult job for the teacher to assess and make the correct decision. Therefore, normally, after the students do peer assessment, they come to realize that the teachers assess them well. Otherwise, they may have some misunderstandings or misconceptions about the assessment being done by the teacher. Since it is coming from their friends, they tend to accept it more than they tend to accept the assessment done by the teachers or some other examining body, because they know that their friends are of the same age and they would be assessing the same things that they are focusing on. So peer assessment is supposed to be a very good tool to assess the capabilities of the students, especially in speaking skills. Moreover, they focus on the word use and the useful language being used by their friends, and they also try to, in return, use the same. So it is like a reciprocal activity that is taking place. At the same time, they are listening and assessing their fellow beings and also learning from them and then trying to reproduce. So it has many advantages in one go. So in one package, they get the listening opportunity to their friends, also assessing the capability of their friends. Probably they also compare the capability of speaking skills in their friends to the speaking skills that they are using themselves. So the comparison sometimes is very beneficial, and it may be a motivator for them to use better speaking skills if they have an example in front of that. In case there is a problem with a student in peer assessing the partner or a friend, the teacher may intervene and guide the student how to peer assess, or the teacher may give a criteria. It is also helpful to give a rubric for assessment to the students. For example, the teacher may tell them that you have to look at the following items of language and then mark accordingly. So that becomes an easier job for the students to peer assess their friends. For example, the teacher can say you have to give out of 5 marks for pronunciation, out of 3 marks for intonation, and out of 2 marks for word stress. So in that case, they would be focusing on those 3 skills. And that would be very helpful for the students, because then they would also be learning how to focus on those 3 skills of speaking language. And at the same time, they would be able to peer assess their fellow students and be able to know how the assessment process goes on.